My name is Marc Levy, that's Marc with a C. We're in Portland, Oregon. I'm the CEO and the president for the United Way of the Columbia-Willamette, which is in Portland. But it's the Portland metropolitan area, which includes also a part of Washington as well as Oregon. The United Way really, from the perspective I would offer, is about our ability to bring people together. It's really about a way in which we do work. It's about working in a United Way, what we can do together that we can't do alone. It's about living united. That's the theme that you'll hear across the country, but it really translates into our ability as people to work together. So United Way is a community organization. And here, what we're trying to do is be able to bring together and mobilize the human as well as the financial capital in the community to solve community problems. The challenge that we really have as a country, I think, is that we've been going through a period of time which has been much more divisive rather than unifying. So the real challenge that keeps me up at night is, if we're going to solve problems, how can we in fact make it and create an environment where people can come together and see their commonality, the things that we can do together. Yes, we are facing some serious economic challenges, and the effect that that's having in each of our communities across the country and what's happening here in Portland can be very devastating to you if you're one of the people who lost your job or has reduced hours, to just be able to keep food on the table, keep your family stable, be able to hopefully pay the rent or the mortgage payment and stay in that housing. And so it's our ability to be able to bring hopefully the 85% of the folks that are employed to understand how they can help to be able to, as a community, help the 15% that are struggling right now. Because only as a community can we get through this together. As I was out talking with people, and the economy had just been shifting as we got into the whole economic challenges we're facing. And repeatedly, as I was talking with folks, you're talking about what they liked about the United Way, but a common question kept coming up. What's the United Way going to do in relationship to the way this economy is affecting people? And out of that conversation, it became clear that what we really did need to do something. And so what I proposed to the board of directors here was that we create a community relief fund. And the board really basically said, fine, what we're going to do is, out of the campaign we just completed, we're going to commit $1 million as a challenge to the community. You go out and you mobilize the community to be able to put together the response and see where that goes. And so they empowered me to do that. And what I was able to do in that spirit was talk to the 4 counties and get a collaboration going between the 4 counties. And they identified what were the key agencies that provide food, rent, and utilities. And we didn't go through any grant writing process. We didn't go through any complex process. What we've done as United Way is gone out and been raising dollars. Those dollars are spread to the counties based on the way the 4 counties said it should be spread, to the services the way the service agencies said that they felt that the money ought to be spent. They report back to us the number of people and the difference they're making, and we make sure that that's reported back out to the community. And so we're at about just coming on probably $2 million, kind of the $1 million we've committed, another $1 million. Well, what it meant was that we were able to, in 30 to 60 days, we kicked off something. We decided we were going to do it in March. By May, we already had money, and by July 1st, we were putting out $400,000 a quarter to be able to provide that. And there was no bureaucracy. There were no long lines of paper and reams that had to be done. It was people getting together. The complex part of it was just getting the agencies together and say, okay, if we're going to have money, what's a fair way to divide this up? But it really meant that it was an empowering experience. What it's done is it's shown that the United Way can respond quickly to emerging needs, and demonstrated what I was talking about earlier, and that is, if you bring people together, we can do so much more together than alone. And in fact, that we can collaborate with each other. Many of those agencies weren't agencies we traditionally fund, but we were able to just be able to do it based on what the counties wanted and those agencies who were right on the front line. But what's happened is that we've had, therefore, the city and the county around the census count looked at us and said, boy, you were able to do that. If we raise some money to be able to help to reach out to the undercounted populations, would you do a similar kind of thing? We are also partnering in 2 or 3 other ways with organizations that because of that. And so it's allowed us to open up the door to strengthen our ability to reach deeper and wider in the community and mobilize more. Same thing true with our effort as it relates to health and health equity issues. In a breakfast that we had, I was able to reach out and get 8 different organizations to co-sponsor a breakfast to bring 300 people together. We brought a gentleman from Louisville, Dr. Trotman, who is one of the progressive voices on the social determinants of health and health equity, and motivate and inspire people to talk about what can we be doing differently that would help to be able to strengthen our healthcare delivery system and really focused on health, not just illness. How do we help people stay healthy? Really to mobilize the community where we're trying to focus, which is how can we partner with the schools and the educators and the business community around a goal that for all of our children to get quality education and to graduate. How do we close the educational gap? Well, it allows us to begin to really think in broader terms and ways in which we can collaborate and do things we might not have thought we could do before. Same thing in terms of financial stability and independence. It's allowed us to be able to build some partnerships with others, because this is not just about the United Way. The Community Relief Fund was not a United Way program. We may have taken the initiative, but it's a community effort, and that's really what things need to be. The role of government has over time evolved into doing the things that government's doing in health and human services. Much of that, if you look historically, was really done through the private, what used to be called charities, now not-for-profits, because we're not really running as charities, although giving to us is charitable. So it's actually the partnership. It really is the opportunity that there are certain things that government can do, and there are things that not-for-profit organizations can do, and the faith community can do. And it's about private sector, the faith community, the not-for-profit, the government. It's about the entire community. Again, it's about what we can do together. And so there's more than enough need that we need everybody around the table working together. I hope my legacy is that really just leaving the planet a little better than it was when I got here, that people can, that I've turned some other people on to do good. The real thing that I find that's really a blessing that I have being the exec of United Way is I get to be a witness of good. I get to see problems and issues, and I get to work with people and see people being willing to do good things and witnessing that and hopefully sharing that with others. So I just hope that people say, you know, Mark really motivated, inspired a lot of folks to do some things differently than they would have done before, and it really made a difference in other people's lives. I would hope that people can be inspired to know that they too can help to make a difference. That it really isn't that I'm that much different than anybody else. The reality is it's about saying, you know, I really want to make a difference. I'm willing to give up some of my time and talent to make that difference. And I'm going to join with some other folks because, you know, if 3 or 4 of us get together, we can do more than if one of us is doing it. And if we get 10 or 15 people together, you know, pretty soon it begins to become a movement. And if we can get really committed to this and really begin to not be bound by our prejudices and our prejudgments, and we really go into it, we've all got the time and talent. Right now, we have a lot of human capital, that's what I call it, the time and talent of people. And in some cases the financial resources, and to do whatever we want to do. So I would just hope that I can inspire people and that they have the motivation then to just do something. Be a caring adult, be a mentor in some child's life because you're helping to be able to help somebody. I had caring adults in my life and that made the difference of why I ended up graduating from high school, not ending up being in trouble. And you know, you had somebody that said to me, hey, do this and try an experience, and that experience got me on a path. So it's just get out and do something.